Well, it is a beautiful October day in North Texas this morning. We are October 8th at almost 11 in the morning. It is 71 degrees. Our high today is 84. That's the lowest it's been in probably 4 weeks. And today I'm gonna harvest the sweet potatoes. You can see behind me, these are our sweet potato vines, and they went crazy this year. On the trellis to my left, we planted Kajari melons, and John, after I'd put them in, John asked me, "You sure you want to put 2 vines together?" Because in the flat part of the bed is where I have the sweet potatoes planted. We won't do that again. So, yeah, since the weather's a bit cooler, we are gonna take them out.
So with that, we started taking the vines out of the bed. The vines had spread to an area probably 20 feet across and then about 20 feet wide. It was a very large amount of vines. It took us several days to clear these vines. One of the things that slowed us down was that there were multiple wasp nests that were in the vines, particularly the Kajari vines that were on the trellis.
Look how big the stem is on this.
It's like a ribbon. That's a sweet potato ribbon.
Yes, it is.
Look at how thick it is here. That's crazy. Never seen them grow like that.
You can see here in the mulch, there is a place where the vines grew roots down into the mulch, and we found several small sweet potatoes growing in the mulch, in the pathway. So let's see if this one did. The ground feels very hard. It's hard to get the fork in. Holy cow, is that a tree root or something? Let's see what we got here. Oh. Yep, look what I found. It's a small one, but it's still a sweet potato. Well, it's lunchtime. We're taking a break, but we made good progress. We cleared maybe 2 sides of the bed. There are so many vines.
We haven't even gotten into the bed.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the bed yet, where I planted them. However, the vines took root in the mulch, and we are finding little sweet potatoes. This is the first one we found. We also found all these and all these. So at least we know that our efforts will be fruitful.
Hi, good morning. It's another day here in the garden, and we are going to continue harvesting our sweet potatoes. We have both orange ones and white ones. The orange ones were a sweet potato that came from the grocery store. It decided to sprout, so we planted it. And the white ones we purchased seed potatoes for. They were O. Henry. So hang on, we'll just keep going and we'll bring you with us. As we took the vines, both the sweet potato vines and the Kajari melon vines, out of the bed and off the trellis, we clipped them into about 1-foot sections, put them into the wheelbarrow. And then once the wheelbarrow was full, we took them over to one of our new raised beds to be used as biomass and for composting over the winter. Hopefully the vines don't continue to grow and we'll have a nice compost in the spring.
Well, we're back at it again. We have gotten most of the vines cleaned up, and now we're ready to dig. But look at how much different it looks. Yesterday, this whole area here was covered by vines, and around that end as well. Just now you can see the bed. The Kajari melon is going to be coming down next. It's got one or two fruits hanging on, and when that's done, it's coming down as well. You can see we have tied up the zinnia. It's just gone crazy. But now we can actually get into the bed to dig up the sweet potatoes. When we started, the vines were coming all the way out to here and even over the edge of this bed. That walkway you could not even see. And this one also was completely covered with vines, and they came off past the end of the bed. The only place we planted sweet potatoes was in here, from this corner this direction. So you can see them popping out of the ground here, in here, and over here there's more. Here's another one. These are the O. Henry variety. They are a white sweet potato. And those are just ones that grew off of the vines. We did not plant those. Let's get started digging. These are the areas where we dug 2 trenches, and there are multiple vines coming out where the trench was that came off of the original stem. And on this one, you can see, here's another sweet potato popping out of the ground. This is one of the orange ones. And you can see there's multiple vines that are growing in this row. So let's dig them up and see if they did better than the others. I did an experiment when we planted them this year, when we planted the sweet potatoes, to see if digging a trench and laying the slip of the sweet potato, because they were fairly long when I got them in a trench with just the leaves sticking out and coming out the end of the trench, if that would produce any better than just digging the sweet potatoes and putting them in a hole. So I dug 2 trenches here, and we'll see if they produce any better than the ones that were just in a hole. I'm moving the mulch first. I don't want to accidentally dig through the irrigation system. Okay, let's see what we've got, and I'll try not to stick the fork in any. Oh, it's lucky I missed that with the fork. First one.
Say it again.
We've got some more. Look at that beauty.
Very nice.
So we got 4 potatoes from that first trench. This is what we got out of the first trench. I would say that's been very productive. Look at how big this one is. That's a really good sized sweet potato. This variety is an orange one that I started slips from one that I got from the grocery store that just started growing. And obviously it's doing quite well. Even though I planted the original slip in a trench, the potatoes did not stay in that nice, neat line. They grew roots off to the side here and there. So they were not in just one nice, neat clump. They were all over, and we had to follow the roots to be able to find them.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get some more work done on these sweet potatoes. We've been at it for a little bit of time, and Sarah's over watering the rest of the garden. So I'm gonna pop in here for a few minutes and see if I can dig some of the potatoes that are in this section of the bed. You know, as Sarah mentioned, we only planted sweet potatoes over there in that section of the bed, but the vines just went all over the place. And wherever they touch the soil, they can produce roots. So we ended up with sweet potatoes here and this side of the bed that we didn't plant them in. There's another herb bed right behind me, small one, and there were some sweet potatoes in there. Sarah showed you earlier the sweet potatoes that grew in the mulch in our mulch path. So anyway, let's see what we can find. There's several places here where you can see the sweet potato vine is attached to the soil, the bed here. Let's see if we can dig up some of the roots and see what we get out of here. The soil is fairly loose, and I can feel sweet potatoes right here, even just under my fingers, just pointing my fingers into the soil. And there we go. There's a couple of nice sweet potatoes. There's a small one, and a couple of good sized ones there. And there's more over here. Here's another one. I can feel some more in here. There's another. So that's 4 good sized ones, a small one. I can feel more in here. Well, that's just soil. That's soil clumping. But there is a vine that goes through here. You can see it was gonna start to produce another sweet potato right there. Just following this vine along the root. Let's see if there's any more down lower. Well, there was a small one. If you don't get all these roots out of from the sweet potatoes, you might get some volunteers the following year. In fact, I think we have where we planted the sweet potatoes last year in a bed over on the other side of the garden. There's some volunteer sweet potatoes. We'll probably be digging them up here in just a little bit. Well, that's a nice little harvest of sweet potatoes. Unintended, sort of. We planted them over there, but there's a nice little clump of sweet potatoes. Let me separate them and we'll put them into the basket. These sweet potato roots are enjoying this raised bed soil. It's nice and loose, so I'm having to dig down there with my fingers a good distance. See, this one would have been a white sweet potato versus the red. This vine obviously is the whites. This one was the reds. You can see a couple of potatoes there. I can feel that there's a potato right here. I just have to dig under this. And actually, you know what? I'm going to work my way. There's another section of sweet potato vine right here. You can see there's a sweet potato right here. A good size one, it feels like. Okay. Well, this one looks like it's split, or at least was split at some point. That's a good sized potato. So we'll add that to the collection. Yeah, see, there was at the end of one of the roots, there was a nice little sweet potato. Have any of you tried to grow sweet potatoes before? Have you had luck? We're having a bit of luck this year, more than I think we did last year. Although last year we grew a monster sweet potato, one that was like that big. It was huge, and I'm not sure that's the best idea, letting them get that big. Normally, I think what Sarah was saying that, yeah, sweet potatoes have about a 90-day cycle been from planting to harvest, and ours have been in the ground a little bit longer than that. And I know they were last year too. Um, so um, I think what happens is once the sweet potatoes get big, like the really big ones, I don't think they're as good as when they're when you harvest them the times that you should in that 90-day window. Um, but we ate them; they were good, and we're looking forward to some of these. They'll be good sweet potatoes. But have you tried them? Let us know down in the comments if you've tried growing sweet potatoes and how successful you were. Do you have any tips that you can give us um, from your experience? Did you grow really big ones, or did you harvest them when they were a bit smaller? How long did you wait until you harvested your sweet potatoes? Yeah, I see very small white potatoes on this section of root. Like we said, it wasn't planted. It just grew this way, and wherever it was on the ground, you can see multiple sections where it touched the soil, it decided to grow roots. Let's see if I can straighten those up and give you an idea. So yeah, you can see here where it touched the ground, here and here. It was just touching the ground, and you can see it was starting to produce roots and potatoes. After clearing out the vines, Sarah spent the rest of the time harvesting potatoes.
Good morning. It took us 5 days, but we finally finished harvesting all the sweet potatoes and getting all the vines dealt with. You can see the bed looks much different now. Some of them, when we put this bed in, we put wood in the bottom, and some of the sweet potatoes had found gaps and grown down in between the wood and the wall, and it was challenging. There was one sweet potato that the roots came behind this pole, and it went all the way down behind and to practically to the bottom of the bed. You can see how deep it is here. We were barely able to get it out, and then it was just an itty bitty little thing. Hardly worth the effort. So anyway, let me show you what we got. Sweet potatoes need to be cured before they actually get sweet. So after you pick them, you want to put them in a place where they have roughly 80 degrees and, if possible, humidity. That's the perfect environment for them. And that is what actually makes them sweet. You want to keep them in curing for about 2 weeks, and then you can start eating them. The longer you store them, the sweeter they'll get. And yeah, let me show you where we're keeping ours. We have them inside the greenhouse on some shelves, and this is our harvest. You can see most of these are the white variety, O. Henry. And there's a few of the red ones mixed in, but it's a much smaller proportion than we were expecting. I think we planted 2 of the red slips and 3 of the white, but the white turned out to be much more vigorous. So I will keep that in mind for next year, maybe get a different variety of red potato. These were a slip from the grocery store. Well, we tried an experiment with planting some of the sweet potato slips in more of a trench instead of just vertically in a hole. And we really couldn't tell if it made a difference. The ones we planted in the trench were much less vigorous than the ones we planted in the hole. And I'm not sure if it was just a difference in varieties or if it actually did help them grow better. We'll have to try it again next year. Well, it was a lot of work to get them out, but it'll be worth it. We are looking forward to celebrating with some sweet potato pie as soon as they are ready. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this video and learned something. Like and subscribe, that helps us out. And have a great day.